Hi guys, it's Jo Fox from Invest Leeds. I would just like to talk about last night when I hosted a table at PPN Sheffield. For those that don't know, PPN is a popular property company and they organise various meetups around the country. Last night I had the pleasure of being the host of a mastermind table, and my area of special expertise was deal packaging or sourcing or whatever you like to call it. Basically where we go out, look for deals for investors, and then rather than buying the deal themselves, we sell that deal on. I thought it would be interesting to go live about some of the questions that I got asked. So I've chosen the most popular question, the most interesting question, and the most interesting tip that people gave me as feedback has been the best. The most interesting question, obviously I've chosen that it's the most interesting, and that was, why do we need to be registered for anti-money laundering when we're not actually buying the deal? It's somebody else buying that deal off us, and the solicitor and so on, and the estate agent, if there's one involved, they will be doing anti-money laundering checks. My answer to that was, basically, if the person buying the deal is money laundering, anyone who's involved in that deal can actually get in trouble. I imagine that I personally couldn't get done for actual money laundering, but I could get done for helping to assist it, especially if it were blatantly obvious. So for what it actually costs and the time it takes to get registered, I'd much rather be registered, educated about it, and be able to spot if it's going to take place. And to illustrate that point, I don't think I actually answered this question in full as well to the person who asked the question. I'd like to talk about 12 months ago when I had a deal for an overseas investor. He was Chinese. He had submitted a bit of information to me, some copy of his passport, proof of funds and so on. He was buying a deal in Leeds. He's never been to Leeds as far as I'm aware, which isn't a problem. He had a UK company set up that was buying the property, and as far as I was aware, I'd kind of done everything I had to do by law. And then it transpired as conveyancing went on that he didn't want any money to touch a UK bank account, which in my opinion that's a bit dodgy, because if there's nothing to hide and it's a UK company buying, then why is it an issue? He especially didn't want to pay his solicitor through his UK company. He wanted the Chinese money, but he wanted to pay in Chinese currency and to pay their account directly. When I questioned him about this, it basically pulled out of the deal. He's since blocked me on Facebook. I've just had a good look for him in research for this live. So to me, it's quite clear something wasn't right. Had he have gone ahead and purchased and say, for example, he'd used drug money or money's obtained illegally, the purchase price was $75,000. He could have bought that property and he could have sold it 6 months later for even $70,000. He's probably not bothered. He's cleaned that money then, so he's then got a legal use for that money, and he can explain where it come from. Had he been involved in that, I'm pretty certain I could have done time in prison too. That's why I'll pay the few £100 that it costs to register and have all the checks done. So that's the answer to the most interesting. I'm just going to silence my phone. It's shut up now. Question 2, the most popular question that I got asked, that was, how do I personally qualify investors? I guess these people were asking because they're considering setting up a deal packaging business themselves. So they wanted to know how I did that. So real quickly, I'll just explain it. You register on my website. There's a simple form to fill in. It just basically asks your contact details, brief details of what it is that you're looking for. And then once you sign the NDA, at that point, it's a real basic one. We have detailed ones that come later. And then once you've clicked send, that automatically joins you onto all my systems. So without me doing anything, I've then got your number and name in my phone, in my email package that I use, CRM. It just kind of sends everything everywhere, and that helps me match you up with deals. You won't actually receive any good deals at that point. You'll receive the ones my investors don't want, and they probably don't want them for a reason. I then do a quick 10-minute phone call with you, which I call unicorn poo, and that's to check that you're not looking for unicorn poo. I've had people who want a 5-bed HMO in a good area of Leeds for £40,000. When I asked these people why, well, basically how are you getting the rest of the money? Have you got a mortgage? They said, no, it's a cash purchase. Well, it might be cheap up north, but you can't really buy a shed in Leeds these days for £40,000. So instantly there, I wasn't wasting any of my time trying to find this person a deal that's basically not ever going to materialise. And to be quite honest, if it did, I'd be buying it. So once I've ascertained that they've been very realistic, then we have a detailed, ideally a meeting. We come into my office here in Leeds 12. We meet face to face. The person will bring their ID, their proof of funds, and I can do money laundering checks then straight away and check how serious this person is, because if they won't really spend an hour with me this early on, then there's probably going to be a problem further down the line. I have done these calls by Skype. I appreciate not everyone can make it to Leeds, and that's fine. I have also twice now had people come over from China or Hong Kong specifically just to come to the office and meet me. So that's obviously a great level of commitment. After that, then obviously I've qualified investors, and that's wherever I've initially found them from. I might have met them face to face at a meeting. We might have followed each other online for a while. LinkedIn has worked especially well for me at finding investors, but I still like to have that at least an hour-long meeting. Of course, some investors will choose to take a 4-hour tour of Leeds, and we can go around, drive around and visit some live projects, and that really helps them see what they can get for the money, and it helps me learn what level of risk that they're willing to take as opposed to geographical area. Like most towns, Leeds has got good and bad areas, so it helps me to know that a certain area isn't for them, but another area is perfect for them. Equally, it works the other way, and sometimes people are quite happy in what I'd consider a high-risk area because they're buying cheaper and there's high rental demands and so on. So that's really useful. And going back to last night, another really good question that I got asked was, what's the best way to find off-market deals? There's obviously tons and tons of ways that you can find off-market deals, and they're probably all good if you do them properly. I don't think you can really spend, 20, 30, well, have the time to get 20, 30 different ways working properly. What I do is I choose 3 or 4 ways that work well for me, and I do them right. The main way, again, is getting out there, getting networking. I initially maybe started online, but I do like to get around to the face-to-face groups. That helps me build up trust with people, and hopefully they get to know me. And even if they've not got a property to sell now, they might have in 6 months, 12 months' time, and I've already done the work then, and they'll come straight to me. I've had a lot of success with leaflets, and that's something you really have to plan and do properly. You can't just get 5,000 leaflets printed and go deliver them. You need to plan your route, where you're getting them delivered, who's going to see them, who's going to deliver them. And I fully advise that you do it yourself at first, at least once or twice, and you'll get to know the area. You'll get to know the specific houses that you're trying to target. You get opportunity to talk to people if they're coming out, putting the bins out, collecting the post or whatever. You get the chance to just say, are you selling? Do you know anyone in the area? Blah, blah, blah. We pay referrals, and I personally don't think that leaflet delivery people will do that, at least as good as I can. I do train people up, and I am starting a leaflet campaign again next month, and it'll be the first one for over 12 months. But if you do it regular and do it properly, you will get your phone ringing. The other favourite way I've got is sending direct mail, usually to the same houses that I leaflet, and we will just send a letter to every house on the street. And I know some people even watching this Facebook Live have probably had one of my letters, or certainly their tenants, and that's one of my favourite ways to get deals. Again, I offer an incentive to the tenant to pass my details on to the landlord, and that works. One more little tip is, it was my favourite tip, I was told. Most people really benefited from this tip, and that is to ask, when I work with investors, I ask them, how do you work out the figures on your deal? Because I can calculate yield and return on money invested, but you find everybody does it slightly differently, or they include different things. So it can really help me to know how the other person is going to calculate whether that deal is right for them. Maybe they've got a spreadsheet and they can give me a copy, or simply can tell me what they include, and that can really help get deals over the line. Any questions, just send me a message. Please don't ring my phone because it's really busy at the moment. Just send me an email or a private message on Facebook. And thanks for watching. See you all soon.